Now we're ready to close the handle on this serving piece. And I'm going to start out, I have a log here, and there's a groove, and this is probably about 1 inch wide and maybe a 1/2 inch deep or so. This is my Delrin hammer. It has a sort of like a raising end and a flat end on it. And we start out by taking the edge of my piece for the handle, and I'm going to like just tap right into the edge of the groove all the way down. And then I'll turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. And I'm holding this so that it's really quite at the edge. The edge of the metal is at the edge of the groove, and I'm pushing in. Just light pressure. To get this started. And you'll see that it has a slight round, to this now. I'm going to go a little bit further in this time, striking not so much where I just struck, but just a little bit further in to bring the edges up a little higher. And you can see that the thing is developing a little bit of a twist, which is okay. I'll just straighten it out here. And it's starting to get more rounded on these edges. Now at this point, I need to put the groove in. So we're going to go over to my other work table where I have some plasticine, and I'll put this little groove in here so that the spatula end comes up. Okay, on my work table, I have a piece of cardboard and I have some plasticine here that I've turned into this little shape that will support the spatula. This here is what I always make for my pieces, which is a copper foil model, so that I have an idea of what it will take to put the shape that I want into a piece of metal. Working with foil makes it very fast, it's very thin, and you can cut this out with scissors and hammer it, and it'll show you a pretty good representation of what you're going to be dealing with when you deal with thicker metal. Now, in order to make the groove, I'm going to put the plasticine on here and just sort of stick this. And I'm also going to measure, like, from the end here to see about where the end of the groove should be. This is a piece that I've already done, and it's been silver plated. And this is this is exactly the same size as far as the handle goes. So I know here that the groove is going to go from here, so I'll just mark a little bit of a mark there, so I know where to begin and end my groove. For this, I need a chasing hammer, and I have these little spikes that I have refurbished from chisels that you buy at Home Depot. You can buy them in sets of 3 for different sizes, and then you just take a grinder, grind the sharp edges off, and make them into repoussé tools. So these have been like a real, lifesaver, because they're very inexpensive and they work very well. Now, back to the serving piece. I've got this on the plasticine, which will support the copper, and I'm going to put the tool right in the center and start striking. And I'll stop just about a 1/2 inch from the edge of the pierced work. Now, if you see it sort of going off, you can just aim your tool back and push it right back, into the center. And I'm not pushing the very edge of the tool up to my line. I'm getting it close to it, but not right at it. And you can see how it has lifted the shape of the spatula up. So now we can go back to the groove. And finish closing the handle. Now it's a good idea whenever you're working with plasticine to wash this off, because the plasticine has sulfur in it, and if you leave this on your metal, it could over a period of time etch. I'm going to wash all my tools as well when I'm finished with this, so that I don't have any of this plasticine residue on it. Okay, we're back at the groove, and I have my Delrin mallet, and I'm going to start striking again, but a little further in to start to close the tube of the handle up. And you can see that it's starting to close up now. We're going to get it up to a certain point, and each time I'm striking in here, I'm pushing just a little bit further in toward the center of the spatula's handle, so that I gradually build the round up. First one side, then the other, and you can see that it's starting to get, quite round now. Now at this point, I may have to take this over to a little stake and sharpen these angles up here a little bit, but I'm going to try just a little bit more here to strike out the center lines here. Okay, we're going to go to another station now, and I'll work on these little edges here at the throat of the spatula. I've set up one of my stakes out of this set into a vise here at the edge of my bench, and I'm going to use this like a stake to close up these little side parts of the neck in the spatula. So I'm just going to set this on and then take the Delrin mallet and hammer these down like that. And that brings these closer together. I'll probably have to do a little bit more. So let's see here. I'll use this end here. The shorter end of the mallet will get into this tighter area of the curve. There. Now I think we're pretty close, and I'll be able to finish up in the groove. Whenever I'm doing this, I'm always sort of watching the reflections, and you can see if there's anything that's a little high, because it shines a little differently. There we go. Now I can begin to close this up in earnest. At one point, no longer be able to get the hammer inside here. So what we start to do is turn this on its side and hammer it on its side, bringing both of the edges in evenly. And I'm working from the back, from the back toward the front each time to bring these closer together. I'm going to take this to the plasticine and give it just a little bit more of a hit in here to bring this a little closer together and make this groove a little deeper. And now I'm going to take my tool again and hit this. And I'm going to push the spatula forward. There. This seems to be coming around now. I'm going to hit this just a little bit more because I want to see if I can close it. Okay, back to the groove. Okay. Now you see as this is getting closed, this one just overlapped a little bit, so I have to open that up. And I'll take a ring mandrel and just push it open just a little bit, like that. And we can start to close it by hitting right on top. And this should bring both of the edges right up against each other so they butt their ends together. You can see that it's getting, closer here. See how that's coming closer? And we're making a nice, little tight seam now. I'm going to turn it over here just to sort of straighten this out a little bit. And I have to open that again just a little bit here. And while the ring mandrel's in there, I'm going to hit just to make sure that those edges are butted up against each other. And there we have it.